All right, so today I'm going to be doing a review of all of these new Engage paddles and giving it away. So check out the giveaway. But first off, I just wanted to say how surprised by how much I liked these paddles, actually. And so, yeah, there isn't a whole bunch of buzz around the new Engage paddles, but I think they're kind of going to be a sleeper hit. So why isn't there that much like talk or buzz around these paddles? And maybe it's Jessie Irvine. I know she has her own colorway of a paddle, and maybe she's not doing a great job promoting the paddle. But I think the color scheme is pretty awesome. You got this cool like blue to like this purple fade, but I don't know, that looks like a pretty cool paddle to me. Well, maybe it's the marketing teams, actually, their failure to create a good email campaign. And let's take a look at what I mean by that. So I got this email from Engage talking about their partners, and one thing I did notice is, wow, Jessie Irvine is playing with a Pursuit Alpha. That's odd, because Jessie Irvine has her own signature Pro Elongated paddle. So why is she playing with the Alpha, which is the lowest tier? And I mean, as you can see, as I zoom in, they didn't even give her a paddle. They literally photoshopped the paddle face of the Alpha on top of her existing paddle. I mean, that's probably her old Pursuit that she's using, but they couldn't even give her a paddle to promote. So I don't think it's Jessie's fault that they couldn't get her a paddle to take pictures with to promote this. But yeah, kind of jokes aside in terms of the marketing, the paddles have actually been pretty popular. Even though there's not that much like marketing buzz around them, they're actually already sold out online, and it's only been like number of days for this. So let me just jump right into my review of what I think about each of the paddles, and we'll go from there. So first off, let's talk about this supposed paddle that Jessie's playing with here. And so and that is the Alpha Elongated. So it comes in both a 14 and a 16, and this is the cheapest of, I don't have the 16 with me at the moment, but I can grab it later. But it's the cheapest of the three versions, and it comes in at $200. And like I mentioned before, what I thought Engage was going after was kind of a luxe play. So, Selkirk Luxe, they got the new Infinigrit. It's 3 times more durable. The Pursuit says, hey, if you guys are 3 times more durable, we're 4 times more durable. And so I thought they were kind of trying to mimic a Luxe paddle because this is more control oriented, but it's a bit different from a Luxe. So while they are competitors with the durable surface, it's not quite as soft or controlled as I would have expected if they're going for that angle of tackling the Luxe. It's not a pillow in terms of softness like the Luxe is, but it does have good plow through and spin, right? It's not as plushy, forgiving, muted like the Luxe, but the surface is kind of interesting. It has like a really, probably can't see it from the video, but basically imagine if you're like weaving something, like imagine a basket that's being weaved. If you usually like fine string, like it's kind of smooth, but then if you use like a coarse like fabric, like a coarse like a yarn, or like hay or something for basket weaving, like it's going to be really thick, and that's what the Pursuit uses, and that's kind of how they get their grit and texture. So this paddle is quite grippy, right? And so I was kind of thinking about this, like I'll go into my thoughts a little bit later on like why they're using this texture and not actually applying it across their other products. So let's talk about it later. But one thing is it spins the ball a lot, and so that made me think like it's very durable, but it doesn't quite match the Luxe. So it feels more like let me grab it. Sypik Avatar. So this is a little bit grittier of a paddle. I mean, not as gritty as the Pursuit Alpha, but I mean, this one's gonna be a lot more on the power side. But they both get like comparable spin, and because the texture itself is so gritty, you're even gonna get spin on kind of those softer shots. So I think a lot of paddles, as you're kind of hitting harder, you rely a lot more on the dwell of the paddle. So, I have a ball in my pocket. I did not plan that. So, a ball, when you're hitting a paddle and it's coming really fast with a like higher level players who like to throw a ton of topspin on it and hit it hard, what happens is the ball hits, and let's see if you can see it. It actually compresses into the paddle. So you can see the ball compression there. So as it compresses and you're hitting it, that's what gives it the spin for the ball, right? But if you're hitting it softer, you don't quite get as much compression on the ball and it kind of bounces off. But if you're putting topspin on it, actually the literal like grit of the paddle is what produces the spin. So perhaps they're going for a more budget market, more like newer players, and so they're not hitting with as much like force in terms of their topspin. But this paddle definitely gives you a lot more spin without requiring you to hit it as hard with your brush like topspin. So that's kind of what I'm thinking they're going for with this texture. And so I'll review that a little bit later once I get over to the Alpha Pro. But those are my thoughts right off the bat. I think it plays great as the paddle. Kind of some new tech with it in terms of the surface as well as kind of the nice feel. So it's a good, solid like control paddle for a decent price. It also has a lifetime warranty similar to the Lux, but you're gonna get $80 cheaper with this. So that's the Alpha. Let's go on to the second in the lineup, which is the new Profoam. So as I played this, like I compared the shape earlier to the carbons, and they're very similar. It basically falls in between a Trufoam Genesis 1 and a Trufoam Genesis 3 in terms of sizing, and it plays almost identical. Like if you gave me this paddle and you had me blind test all of them, it would be really hard to tell which paddle was which, right? Like the surface, let me pull up my Trufoams. All right, so I got my Trufoams. I got my, the 4 is still in the bag, but you get the point. I'll throw this down. So it's a 1, 2. So this is the 1 and the 3. Like I said, it kind of fits right in the middle in terms of like sizing of the face shape. But let me throw one of these down. But surface wise, very smooth. Surface wise, a tad grittier, but like pretty much the same like texture. And so here, the Profoam, it relies a lot on the dwell to get the spin on the ball. So as I mentioned, like as the ball sinks into the paddle and then comes off, it gives it that spin from the paddle. So my speculation is, well, why didn't they just take the grit of the Pursuit Alpha and throw it on all of their paddles, right? Like, this is amazing. Well, why not? And my speculation is that with paddle testing, you can't take the surface that's so gritty and combine it with the foam, because then it won't meet the PB Core regulations or the spin test regulations, or whichever one it didn't pass. And I'm sure the companies have a lot of data on that. So that's my guess as to why the Profoam is so smooth as opposed to the Alpha being so gritty from the surface. So that being said, I mean, the surface is going to wear down in terms of texture like they would on like a carbon, but for for a fraction, I mean, not a fraction. Everything's a fraction, but for a discount, I mean, carbon comes at $280. The Engage Profoam comes in at $230, so $50 cheaper, and you get a lifetime warranty on this new Engage paddle, and they play pretty much identical in my opinion. I mean, I have to hit them some more to test, but like first play test, like I couldn't tell a difference right off the bat between them. I mean, they're both 14 millimeter paddles, and so if you're looking at saving some money, like that's probably where I would go if you really like the feel of kind of the mid-court foam paddles there. So let's now move on to the Alpha Pro. So this is the cool Alpha Pro colorway that Jesse Irvine is supposed to be using. We'll see. And then, so here we got the 16 millimeter and the 14 millimeter. So they're, my impressions of this is, let's see. Let me just talk about the naming. So this is called the Alpha Pro, and actually, all right, I give it to them. It's actually Pursuit Alpha. So I was thinking it was just called the Alpha and then the Alpha Pro, because the Alpha and the Alpha Pro are nothing alike, right? Whoever on their marketing team decided, hey, yes, let's use the word Alpha and Alpha Pro and assume that people will know what the difference is. All right, I would have just named the first paddle just something completely different. Maybe just change this one to Pursuit Beta. Might be a good guess. But yeah, there's no correlation between the Pursuit Alpha and the Pursuit Alpha Pro, right? So I'll start off with that. This is a Gen 3 paddle. So from their marketing jargon, it's a thermoformed floating core Gen 3 reinforced with foam on the sides. But it is the only Gen 3 with a lifetime warranty, right? So that alone is amazing. But perhaps the paddle is terrible, right? And so I was actually shocked by how much I actually liked this paddle, right? It's somewhat similar in design to the Joola like Pro 4 Hyperion, but it's a bit softer and more controlled without that high trampoline effect, right? That allows you to really shape the ball more and having a lot of topspin. And I think it's kind of like a tennis player's like dream paddle, right? I would probably weigh it up a bit, like to get more power, but overall, I think the soft feel of this paddle coupled with the shape and control was great. So I'm surprised how much I like this one. I played some doubles as well as some singles games with it, and it was really nice and controlled. I could get good topspin and placement with it. So for being a Gen 3 paddle with a lifetime warranty, I think this one's going to be a hit for Engage, right? Like I know a lot of their prior or paddle lines weren't all that great. I know it's been a while since Engage kind of had super awesome like groundbreaking like technology in their paddles. I mean, it's not to say that this one's like groundbreaking in terms of new tech, but the fact that they have a Gen 3 that a lot of people kind of know like how they play, and they're giving it a lifetime warranty, right? Like you don't have to worry about it breaking in any way. So I think that's great. It's $260 as opposed to Joola's $280. So then you get also like a 15% discount on the Engages. So I think these are great in terms of a paddle. So I'll just review the lineup once again with you. So we got the Alpha Pro, which is, I would say, for hard-hitting players who like a lot of shape on their balls and putting good topspin, but it's also a little bit softer than a Joola Hyperion. Then you got the, let's find it, the Profoam, which plays like a Trufoam. Let me grab that. Okay. Which plays like a Trufoam. You got the new Profoam lifetime warranty as well, and then you got the Pursuit Alpha, which is the more budget paddle, has a grittier texture for a lot of spin. Kind of likened to a Sypik Avatar. Definitely not the same amount of power, but like a good plow through for a paddle. So these are the paddles. Oh yeah, check out the giveaway if you want one of these for free in the description. And let me know in the comments what you guys think if you guys try out the paddles. And see you guys next time. All right.